Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is sensorality? What is a sensor? How is censorship defined? So just continuing through our linguistic analysis until we arrive at this direct iteration of the syllability of sensorality. Again, our big analytical step or idea or demonstration is containment. This word has this conceptualization and it contains these letters, and these letters spell out these other words. And that is how we establish a natural definition. What is fluency? Fluency is influential. I didn't pick that, you didn't pick that. The word influential just literally spells out the word fluent. Fluent is fluent. We are showing identity of sensorality. And so my rights continue to be violated, and that is where we're going to start from a scientific perspective. Again, trying to think about a way to describe rigor, right? We were talking about the last couple episodes. It's a word you hear in math class. They'll say, my proof is rigorous, but the entire mathematical structure has never even identified that mathematics is thematics. And even the overall structure of what proofing is showing identity, showing it is what it is, because it is this irreducible form of language. And English is the language of science, and you articulate your results, and so it's bounded in this form, in this structure of linguistics. And so when just historically we talked about, again, not even historically, but just in present day, the use of the word rigor. So it's like, what is the most apparent example of rigor? And I just have the law is rigorous, right? If you wake up today and you say, what can I do? What should I do? Just your overall behavior, right? You might not say, hey, is this right or wrong? But you might say, is this punishable, right? If it's something tempting, right? I'm not going to think of an example right now, but the point being is the law is rigorous in this empirical awareness where you say, hey, I'm going to do one action, maybe you're going to jaywalk. And then you kind of ask yourself, or even if you're aware of it or not, right, is this punishable? And I think that type of awareness is rigor, right? Religious is just using kind of big ontological identity value structures throughout history, right? You can be a religious person, you can be a law enforcement agent, but no one, like on an empirical awareness level, thinks like, hey, I'm a Sikh Indian, like S-I-K-H Indian, so therefore I can go commit theft, right? This awareness of punishability of law regulating behavior, that is rigorous. And that's an empirical awareness, hey, when you're walking around throughout your day, what actions can I do or what actions are punishable? That empirical awareness of, hey, right, this could get me in trouble, that is rigorous, that is awareness. And so the law is rigorous. Again, just emphasizing, people might say, I respect this religion or I respect this political party, I respect any ideology or value structure, but everyone has an empirical awareness, right? You rob somebody, you're going to go to jail, right? You commit murder, you're going to go to jail. Unless, again, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution is violated, and so we have this super special case where Brad's life doesn't matter, but this overall empirical awareness of what will punish me is rigorous, right? It's not something you have to... It's just trying to emphasize when you go, if you're doing an action where it's like, I'm not sure if this is good or bad, but you're asking yourself, is this punishable? You're going to watch a movie, right? Maybe we're going to pirate the movie. It's definitely illegal, but it's not like, what's the victim, right? But you're still just asking yourself, is this punishable? Am I going to get punished? And that awareness itself is what I'm saying is rigorous. And you have that analytically in math class, just theorems or proof outside of one person. And so that is where I wanted to start, and then obviously I do not have constitutional rights, and I continue to seek asylum outside of the jurisdiction of Andrew Ginther, Michael DeWine, and Donald Trump. There are no laws, and I'm simply asking for a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. And so we continue on with our analysis through our linguistic steps. Sensorality is valuability. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is variability to volatility? What is volatility to utility? Sensorality utilizes odor. Direct iteration. What is utility to ability? Sensorality utilizes sensitivity. Direct iteration. What is utility to use? What is sensitivity to vibration? What is vibration to creation? What is rigidity to durability? What is pliability to durability? Is endurance durable? Is duress durable? Direct iteration. Sensorality is a durable personality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality has thick skin. Direct iteration. Sensorality is consistent through thick and thin. Consistency is steady. Functionality is steady. Is steady smooth? What is eligibility to potential? What is function to utility? What is function to foundation? What is the opposite of foundation? Again, our logical, again, not like there's like a unique not like a set number, but exponentiation, what's the opposite? Doesn't really have one. Again, the statement of self-identification, the statement of self-iteration, self-multiplication. But logically, we said, what's the opposite of exponentiation? Right? It doesn't have that dichotomy of addition and subtraction, division and multiplication. And so, like, what's the opposite of a foundation? Again, what is the opposite of a function? What is the opposite of base and range? Range, domain. Still this overall kind of logical remnants of what is a function. It's consistent, it's unique. We came across that directly linguistically in the past couple episodes. Moving along. What is roof to root? Direct iteration. Sensorality is the roof of the mouth. Natural definition, direct iteration. Why not ceiling? Right, it's kind of a phrasing that doesn't really strike me as descriptively correct, right? The roof of your mouth. But if I said the roof versus the ceiling of your house, it'd be more like the roof of your mouth is the ceiling of your mouth. Just pointing stuff out. What is mouth to math? Sensorality mouths off. Direct iteration. What is mouth to month? And then I just have the quote or the sentiment, wow, he sure has a mouth on him. Somebody's cursing a lot or being very vulgar, just direct sentiment expression. Is synchronicity periodic? What is periodicality to episodicality? Sensorality is episodic. Direct iteration. What is a portion to a proportion? Sensorality is portionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is position to portion? What is portionality to periodicality? What is a portion to a session? What is portionality to personality? What is portion to sorting? Sensorality is a distorted portion. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality distorts portion. Direct iteration. Sensorality is a tragedy. Natural definition, direct iteration, emphasizing this complete word age. We've explicitly talked about it and demonstrated as a suffix. Now again, it's centralized in the word tragedy. Sensorality is tragedy, strategy. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is offense or defense more strategic? Sensorality is strategicality. Natural definition, direct iteration. I believe if you ask Kodak Black, he says we play offense and defense. What is synergy to strategy? Is movement emergent? Strategy preserves energy. Strategy maximizes movement potential. Is potential essential? Direct iteration. I just have preservation and conservation, and then pros and cons. Again, emphasizing the prefix of preservation is pre, not pro, but pre, preservation, and con, conservation. Sensorality limits functionality. Direct iteration. Is formal functional? Is formality ritualistic? Is ritualistic realistic? Are algorithms altruistic? What is ritualisticality to altruisticality? It's a tough one. Sensorality is virtual ritual. Natural definition, direct iteration, and again, virtue, virtuality, right? This kind of dichotomy of a digital, like a video game is virtual, virtual reality, but then also how do you generalize the word virtue? Like a good quality, a virtue. That always it's kind of like, that is present when I'm writing the word virtuality, but here was again virtual, like on a computer screen, like digital. And then I have what is V to N, right? This RN relationship, obviously, But in our handwriting, we've also pointed out the letter V in the lowercase r. If you're a natural, at least right-handed person, like the V slurs really quickly into the R. And so what is V to N? And all of these direct letter questions come explicitly from some containment, some broader analysis. It's all the same analysis process, but you can literally just go through any letter, right, and say, what is this one to this one? But if it's contained within something, you get a more poignant exemplification. What is virtuality to categoricality? Right, with this use of everyday sentiment or consensus, virtually everybody doesn't know what they're doing. Right, that's a logical use of categoricality. Virtually everybody, categorically everybody. Pointing that out, what is filtration to storage? Sensorality sorts storage. Direct iteration. Memorality is tragedy storage. Natural definition, direct iteration. And memorality stores what is right. And now, kind of again, logically equivalently, but like in the negative connotation, sensorality is tragedy storage. Is tragedy right? It's kind of the opposite of right. Sensorality is the right age. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is off to a good start. Direct iteration. Sensorality is so far, so good. Direct iteration. Sensorality is stoppage time. Sensorality is an age gap. Natural definition, direct iteration. Mass gap, age gap. Again, the direct elementality form of language. On the most direct personal level, again, my capacity or my response or when I'm deriving, it's the elementality. Like the actual sounds have physical properties, and then when you represent them symbolically, it's limited. And so then you can literally just, again, I have enough exposure to written symbols, letters, sound and logic, where you can just piece them all together, like literally like Lego pieces. Yeah, but again, age gap, mass gap, same, again, elementality structure. What is aging to timing? Sensorality lies about age. Direct iteration. Sensorality is timeout. Timeout is hold on. Because again, a lot of the times, like when I'm writing these things, like it's not even, the logic has to be consistent. It is much more of this mechanical feeling of elementality, of discrete limitation of what can be represented within our logical structure. But time out is hold on. Sensorality holds on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold OD. Direct iteration. Is a minute miniature? Is miniature mature? Direct iteration. Sensorality maturizes. Direct iteration. Sensorality pasteurizes. Direct iteration, not like Louis Pasteur, but like a pasture. Is a pasture a field? Sensorality is quantum pasture theory. Direct iteration. Natural definition. Again, this overall form of language preserves elementality, what symbolism could be going into these limited slots. Because again, we're deriving a conceptual basis of what a sensor is. From sensorality linguistically down to, I'm assuming, what is sense, right? Sense, sensory, sensorality. Still seems to be like the big three things we're defining, and we're just articulating all of these linguistic logical implications. So obviously quantum field theory becomes quantum pasture theory. And then I had, again, this was inspired by Socrates, I believe in the year 69 BCE. The chicken crossed the road over yonder to get to the greener pastures where the grass is always greener on the other side. And that is why the chicken crossed the road. Again, it's a legitimate step, right? It's just, at this point, right, why did the chicken cross the road? That's our analogy that we started with. The chicken crossed the road over yonder. I don't know where that one came from. Just wanted to kind of throw yonder in there. It felt like something. But like over yonder, there are greener pastures or something. Like some other kind of cliche kind of stuffed in there. But to get to the greener pastures, that's why the chicken's crossing the road. And then where the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Just kind of like 3 to 4 cliche sayings stuffed into one. Sensorality is a mature pasture. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is ready for harvest. Is chronology monotonous? Sensorality is monotonicity. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is a monstrosity. Sensorality is strosity. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is a monstrosity an abomination? Is a monstrosity an atrocity? What is atrocity to opacity? Censorship shields, direct iteration. Sensorality shields, direct iteration. What is a shield to a ship? Direct iteration. Sensorality is the shield of a ship. What is a shield to a mast? What is mass to a mast? Shielding blocks. Sensorability is shieldability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Emphasizing block, B-O-O-D. Is a bond a shield? What is body to bond? Sensorality is bondy. Natural definition, direct iteration. Does charge bond? Is charge a boundary? Sensorality is the boundary of sensation. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensation specimen. Are boundaries foundational? Sensorality is foundationality. Is functionality foundational? Is frequency functional? Is frequency foundational? What is foundation to filtration? What is filtration to extraction? What is extraction to distraction? Sensorality is extravagant. What is hyperbole to simile? Sensorality is simile. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is a hyperbola to hyperbole? Is simile similar? What is liability to similarity? Emphasizing the elementality of similarity. Sensorality is similar liability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Similarity, familiarity. What is similarity to identity? Sensorality feels productive. I feel like I'm doing something here. I think we're getting to a not tautology, direct, unique sequence of syllability. That is a definition. Right? What is finite to definite? It's clearly definite is finite plus a DE. But definite is definite and finite is finite. Again, just emphasizing linguistics and mathematics. Is proactive productive? Sensorality is proactivity. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, another word form, proactive, something people say, extend it trivially without introducing new conceptualization, proactivity. Then you just have this full word activity and a prefix. What is health to productivity? Still sound a little Canadian or something with that. Sensorality is a productivity problem. Natural definition, direct iteration. Problem, produce. Emblem, problem. A sign is an emblem. Sensorality is willful ignorance. Natural definition, direct iteration. Stupidity is a choice. Arrogance is stupid. Arrogance is willful ignorance. Natural definition, direct iteration. So again, the direct iteration's always emphasizing anytime sensorality is there because it's not well defined anywhere, at least until we identify it is what it is, its unique pairing. But emphasizing always sensorality or direct iterations, and then word forms where people won't typically associate them, where we're stressing the elementality. Again, the overall, not really the logic, but certainly the shapes, the actual letters, and the spacing those letters take up produce new word forms, and the direct derivations, direct iterations. And then the natural definitions is a sufficient differentiation using it is what it is. And so typically natural definitions is just to highlight some pairing of well-defined conceptualization that you typically wouldn't pair. Sometimes they are direct iterations. Again, just trying to emphasize the labeling because that part you guys just don't get. But saying, right, arrogance, right, what is arrogance? Well, saying it's naturally defined as willful ignorance, right? And then the direct iteration, arrogance to ignorance. Fundamental theorem of emotion, sensorality is will. Natural definition, direct iteration. So that's this overall linguistic sequentiality. From arrogance is willful ignorance. Now we just take an operative word to our next step. Sensorality is will. What is will to hope? Sensorality is frank will. Natural definition, direct iteration, again emphasizing their simple first names in the English language. Right? Frank is Kurt. Sensorality is a frank will. Right? A direct statement of legal estate passing on, or a guy named Frank Will. Is Will Frank? Is Will Kurt? Kind of some fun ones. Does rhythm vibrate? Is vibration rhythmic? Kind of our big, certainly logical, linguistic, physical, from rhythm to algorithm, and then conceptually this relationship to vibration. Rhythm, a minimization of steps. Rhythm is used to maximize efficiency. Vibration, this confinement of motion. Logically, mathematically, potential movement. And really an inverse, logically, of energy, movement, potential. Or again, a reordering, or that identity. Energy is movement, potential. Vibration is potential, movement. That's one and the same at this point. So what is rhythm to vibration? Does rhythm vibrate? Is vibration rhythmic? Fundamental theorem of physics. Sensorality is rhythmic vibration. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is vibration algorithmic? Is vibration logarithmic? What is priority to opportunity? Sensorality appreciates the opportunity. Direct iteration, sensorality doesn't appreciate the tone. Opportunity, tone. Direct iteration. What is cadence to tone? The amount of people that have told me throughout my life they don't like my tone as direct projection when I'm speaking in my normal speaking voice just because they're having ontological shock is profound. It's literally my entire life. And it's ruined absolutely everything, obviously. Sensorality is an enterprise. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is an organization an enterprise? Is a company an enterprise? Is enterprise a company? Yes. What is enterprise to expertise? What is enterprise to compromise? Sensorality is a formal compromise. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is formalization to oralization? Sensorality is oralizationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is storage formal? Is shortage formal? Sensorality stores odor. Sensorality is an odor shortage. Natural definition, direct iteration. This is where we had law is rigorous. Again, at the beginning, really trying to emphasize that feeling you have of like, hey, this is like the most predominant thing that's relevant to my life, right? You can only go this fast on the road because of the law. You have to pay taxes because of the law. You have to do this because of the law. Your entire behavioral structure is validated, or is this awareness of punishability from the law or because of these rules. And that's what rigor is. Law is rigorous. Sensorality senses punishability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is censoring punishing? So now linguistically, again, the use of the word censor or censoring, more spoke, because like censorship, that contains the syllability, the letters of censor. Censorship is censor chip, the C and the S. And then sensor, right, the S-E-N-S-O-R, and that's kind of our fundamental physical thing, right, sensorality. And then we have to say something is censoring, right? There's no clear logical difference between a C and an S at this point. But emphasizing punishing, right, English, our two fundamental syllables are sequential. Is censoring punishing? Punishing, ish-ing, English. Sensorality is punishing. Sensorality is punitive. What is punishing to publishing? Sensorality is publicationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is publication to production? Publication publicizes. Direct iteration. What is sizing to publicizing? Emphasizing the C and S of sizing. Sensorality is public criticism. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality criticizes. direct iteration. What is publicizing to monetizing? Sensorality is monetizationality. What is monetization to monopoly? Again, I wasn't even talking about myself in the episode yesterday, but very directly, I have conceptual monopoly. Like that's physically inevitable, right? Which is way more impactful than financial monopolization when we were talking about monopolization and inflation. But legitimately, I have legal rights to everything. You guys have violated every single law. But the real thing you can't stop is this awareness of validating all fundamental realization with these words, and it's just posted on YouTube. So that's kind of we're in a weirder level of, like, again, not even financial monopolization, conceptual monopolization, and that's physically inevitable. I mean, it's as historically inevitable as somebody sneezing and saying, God bless you. And it's not like a religious statement. That's an impact of describing the world around you. Yeah. What is is money monotonous? Definitely not. But give me my money. Like, when do I ever get to have the ability to buy groceries? I honestly don't think it will ever happen. People are just too privileged, pathetic, and nobody cares, where I can just sit here and, again, label profound, substantial felonies, including being held against my will and being owed a ton of money. And I'm just like, hey, I've given up on everything besides I have to sustain life. And the answer is still just don't interact with this diseased animal for any reason whatsoever. Again, to my estate, to take all of the property, it's mine, enforce all of the legal liability, it's theirs, they can't pay, not my problem. Again, the debt of the United States of America is not $70 trillion or whatever. It's infinity. It's actually infinite. Right? This country is 250 years old. It's not a long time for recorded history. You small-minded idiots don't realize, like, all of the shit that you guys care about is just fleeting nothingness. But continue to lie, cheat, and steal. That's what all you guys are good for or good at. Sensorality is the tone of money. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is money talks. Sensorality is one. Direct iteration, again, emphasizing the letters of one are in sensorality. We're still just developing this question where the linguistic answer is directly sensorality. It stabilizes some sort of definition between two well-defined words. Produces our definition for sensorality and spits out the remainder linguistics, the letters, that is the word form for the next axiomatic derivation. Some simple, I think it's 2 or 3 letters, and then we just generalize with ality, or sensorality. 2 syllables. I'm assuming it's going to be the same type of structure. But sensorality is one. Sensorality is one-ality. So again, hyphenated, it will be on your screen. But if you try to generalize the word one, right, what do you get linguistically? And then we have that on-ality from sonality. Sensorality is one personality. Sensorality is one person. Uniquely, right? Sensorality is all of the one people out in the world. Right? I'm just emphasizing, again, we're going to get to this complete differential, and then it's just going to be immediately solved. That's what this limiting of proliferation is. Because the actual complete reduction is, again, it's a step like any of these other steps, and it's just directly, literally true. Moving along. What is publicity to personality? Sensorality is a public persona. Natural definition, direct iteration. So, again, that's where I finished up with the derivation for right now, continuing to emphasize my rights continue to be violated. You've destroyed my life, you've destroyed my health, you've destroyed my relationship with my parents' family. I'm surrounded by schools where, again, they're either directly stealing from my work so prolifically and directly that it's disgusting, or they're lying to their students about the progress of science, which is so disgusting and incomprehensible. But today I'm going to go sell a chair to somebody that works at Genoa and is getting trained at Westerville Central right now. I continue to emphasize to Governor DeWine, can you just give me some my money so I can just leave this stupid state? Brother, I have no political affiliations, and I'm just surrounded by people that don't contribute to their community and don't know how to behave. Just all of the time. Right? And this is a chair, right? This is a chair. Like all of my videos, it's the brown chair that I'm sitting in. I'm selling it for $25. Massive piece of history, actually. But maybe it'll just be sitting over there in Genoa. Hopefully that gets something, who knows, but it went on Facebook Marketplace for $25. Huge, massive historical piece of property. And again, we're right back to, again, the violation of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, that Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, Fifth Amendment, First Amendment, and it's just direct physical property. Right? My manuscripts are direct physical property. And nobody is decent enough to give me a little bit of money to have any sense of human dignity. It's just so profoundly disgusting, and it will just never end. And again, I can't emphasize enough, I have never met somebody with moral potential. Catholic school, Christian school, Hindu school, Jewish school, Muslim school, this person, this ethnicity, that culture. Just a bunch of apes competing over nothing. The concept of a career, the concept of, hey, we're all living our own lives. It's a big old free-for-all. It's like, you guys are just too stupid and short-sighted to see how detrimental that is. But nobody cares, nobody will ever change their behavior, and people will just lie, cheat, and steal as an instinctual reaction because there are literally no values. That is what I have for right now. I continue to beg, nobody cares, and I will see you on the next one.